Well, it was the only house of worship destroyed on 9/11, and 9 years later, St. Nicolas Greek Orthodox Church has not been rebuilt. Why? Here to talk about that is Father Mark Arey. He's the Ecumenical Officer of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese. Father Mark Arey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Give me a little bit of the history. Just set the scene for me here, the history of the church.
St. Nicholas was in the same location at Ground Zero since 1916. It was there before the WTC went up. And it never sold out. It's a small community, but it worshiped there. And of course, on September 11th, it was destroyed when the South Tower fell. No parishioners died, but the church was obliterated.
So now, here we are, 9 years later and counting, and there's still no church being rebuilt there.
Well, we have worked with all of the authorities, whether that be the LMDC, whether it be the Port Authority. Governor Pataki, when he was the governor, made a promise to us that the church would be rebuilt.
Didn't the Port Authority also promise to rebuild the church? The Port Authority
worked with us for years. We worked from 2004 to 2009 with the Port Authority for a different location. As you understand, and as your viewership understands, everything at Ground Zero is changing. We're having a memorial. We're not rebuilding the Twin Towers. The church, they decided to move it. The location where the church was on Cedar Street has been used by the Port Authority. It's the site is still being used.
So whatever was left of the church was then destroyed completely.
Yes, everything was destroyed. We have a few objects at the Archdiocese. But the interesting thing is that they broke off negotiations with the church in March of 2009. We would like to enter back into negotiations so that this, as you said, the only house of worship destroyed on 9/11 can be rebuilt, as it should be.
Has this become embroiled now with the mosque controversy at Ground Zero?
They say a rising tide lifts all boats. So in a sense, when the mosque controversy came about, people would ask us, but the mosque has nothing to do with the church. The church was there.
Right.
And as I like to say, we are rebuilding the church. We're not building anything there for the first time.
So I'm not quite sure I understand why the Port Authority just severed communication with you, just dropped any negotiations with you over rebuilding this church. You know, if they had an obligation they committed themselves to, and they have reneged, why don't you sue them?
Well, I mean, I can't say that we're not looking at every option to get the church rebuilt. I mean, but at the same time, well, we are a church, and we have always felt that we were a partner at Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a sacred space in American public consciousness and the consciousness of New Yorkers. We're part of that sacred space. And reverting to tactics which are brutish, and sometimes a lawsuit can become that, is not the church's way of doing things. We're really hopeful that the Port Authority will come back to the table with us, will re-engage us, and let's rebuild, I mean, not just the church, because it's not being rebuilt just as a church, but as an institution that will be open to all people, all faiths, all religions, for people to come together in a place of mediation and reconciliation.
Well, it does seem a shame that that hasn't been done yet. And in fact, the entire project, I think there are a lot of people in the city who are disturbed that so little has been done, so little progress has been made down there.
There has been some frustration in our city, and that's obvious to any New Yorker. But at the same time, we want to be a partner, and we thought we were. And we're hoping through this exposure with you and through other means that we shall be again.
Well, Father Arey, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Chuck. Really appreciate it.